This title might be clickbait, but no, Netflix is not dying. Okay, maybe it is. No, wait, that's not what this video is about. Let me explain. Netflix has single-handedly pioneered what we perceive as the modern TV experience, aka streaming services, launching in the late 90s and starting to completely obliterate blockbusters in the early 2000s, eventually running them out of business and continuing to thrive by becoming number one in movies and TV show distribution on the internet. But lately, the streaming service thingy has been used by so many goddamn companies and studios everywhere, which has been a gigantic problem for Netflix. Let me give you an overview of what's going on first, before diving into what I think will happen. Netflix has faced a lot of hardships lately. The launches of so many competitor streaming services, sometimes enormous ones like Disney Plus and HBO Max. Netflix just lost a few 100,000 subscribers in the first quarter of 2022. Most people think it's coming to an end. I think differently, but more on that later. Okay, so for most streaming services, TV has been the benchmark of their success. Look at Disney Plus with all the new Marvel and Star Wars Disney Plus series, or HBO Max with shows like Game of Thrones, or lately Succession. Now to be fair, a lot of that success has been coming from old assets. The problem for Netflix has been that most studios' old assets used to be played right here on Netflix. That's where people on the internet used to come to see a lot of the MCU, a bunch of sitcoms, and so much more. But as more and more companies started getting out their own versions of this kind of platform, Netflix has been losing, not only on the competition side, but also on the content side. Peacock has taken back The Office. HBO Max took Friends. Disney Plus is taking back the MCU movies. These are some of the most watched stuff, period, on Netflix. So as you can imagine, it was bad. Now because of that, Netflix has been dumping a fuck load of money into new series and movies, and it has been troublesome. The latest season of Stranger Things has reportedly been getting a $30 million budget per episode. What the fuck? That's more than Game of Thrones used to spend. That's more than the Marvel Disney Plus series are spending, who basically have an endless supply of money. Keep in mind, Netflix does not have the luxury of just putting out old TV shows or movies that they have in storage from the 80s, 90s, 2000s, whatever. That's because Netflix hasn't been around long enough for that. They're a relatively new company that focuses on streaming, first and foremost. So they have to hurry up. They can't really take their time with this. They're not like Amazon, where they make most of their money selling shit, and this is just kind of like a side hustle for them. Or like Disney, who have over a century's experience in making new IPs and using old ones. So they needed to rack up new projects ASAP. Now most people's problem with Netflix lately has been just the insane amount of cancelings of shows, left and right. I can concur. It's bad. They're spending billions of dollars on them, and a lot of the time canceling. They're even canceling the good stuff. What Netflix wants, no, what they need is real success. Something that blows people's minds. Not just a little minor success here and there, something insane that gets people to talk about them for months. Something like Stranger Things. The problem is that most shows don't get enough marketing for them to be popular enough when they release. So even the good stuff ends up flopping. So don't forget to like this video so you can give this channel enough marketing. But again, Netflix doesn't have the decades of experience that other companies have in advertising shows and movies. Look at frickin' Ozark. It's an incredible show that people are nuts about. Part 2 of Season 4 just came out, which is the ending. Where the hell is all the buzz? I didn't see anything. Now, to be fair, all this stuff only resulted in just talk about Netflix failing. The real deuce drop happened a couple of months ago, when Netflix decided to fuck themselves by rising prices to up to $25 a month, and ended up losing subscribers for what I think is the first time in its history, resulting in a massive stock price drop of 35% in an instant. And now, people are thinking, it's game over. I don't know about that. That's not to say I'm sure Netflix will bounce back or anything like that, or that they're gonna succeed above all these other streaming services. Even if they do make a comeback, Netflix will probably never be the number one streaming service ever again. But still, I think there's light at the end of the tunnel. What I found Netflix are really good at is making short, to-the-point pieces that are just magnificent. Mainly movies. I don't know why anyone talking about this subject of streaming services isn't mentioning the amount of insane success over any other that Netflix is having with movies. Wait a minute, I do know actually. It's probably because movies aren't exactly the type of stuff that gets people to stick around, watching for days, weeks, sometimes even months. But still, it counts for something. So many big film directors are having their next movies or have just had their latest movie released by Netflix. Martin Scorsese had The Irishman made on Netflix. Adam McKay got Don't Look Up. Aaron Sorkin brought us The Trial of the Chicago 7. Sean Levi got us The Adam Project. And so on and on. You have so much more coming. Man, Knives Out 2 is gonna release on Netflix. Best movie of the year, baby. Come on! Just about the biggest success Netflix has ever had was The Queen's Gambit. Now that wasn't a movie, but it was a limited 6-episode series that doesn't seem to have a second season. Basically a long movie. And that's where Netflix might struggle for a while. Because they just can't seem to launch something long term. And it sucks. Money Heist is done. It lasted a few years. Ozark ended. Same thing. Stranger Things is closing in. And what the hell else do they have? So that's what I think Netflix's future is. The premier streaming service for movies. Which ironically is what it started as. But soon enough, most of these movies are going to start being their own originals. Which I guess helps in Netflix knowing no one can take that stuff away from them. Whatever, I just think it's annoying that people are glossing over that part of the streaming service industry as if it doesn't exist. I mean, come on. Movie theaters are practically dying. Netflix is the main reason for that. Where else will the industry go? That's a story for another video, so forget about it for now. But, maybe, just maybe, these Netflix originals could help them survive or thrive. Or maybe even give them enough time, keeping them afloat long enough to launch some real good, long-term shows that are gonna do people proud. It's not like they haven't done it before.